All right. I think I covered with you last week how to delete portions of a message. Did I do that as a tip?
Yes.
I did last week? Okay. I'd like to give a little quiz. You ready? This is one on basic skills. And so as your tip of the day, it's basic skills. And so I'll ask these questions and see if you know the answers to them. How do you turn your iPad on and off? Okay, and let me unmute everybody. Oh, I muted all. So if you have an answer to that, why don't you tell me and unmute yourself? Nobody
Home
has
button.
the power button. Well, what happens if you hold the power button on your phone, on your iPads or iPhones with a home button? If you hold the power button, what happens?
Siri comes on.
Now that's with the, that's if you don't have a home button. If
Oh,
you-
I have an iPhone 12 Pro.
Right,
But
so,
what I've done is I've set mine up with accessibility. So I am using buttons because of accessibility.
correct. If you press and hold the power button on phones and iPads with the home button, you should get a slide to power off.
Okay.
Or call 911.
No, or call 911, yes. And you should do that once every week or so. You should really power down your device. Now, if you have
Why, Bill? Why do you have to power it down? What's the reason?
do you have a junk drawer in your home?
Yeah.
Most people reply, most of my drawers. Well, when you go to look for something in the junk drawer, it's kind of hard to find. And if you take time and organize the junk drawer, things are easier to get to. By powering down and powering back up, you're getting the junk drawers out of the operating system. So it works more efficiently. Okay, and it does junk itself up after time. Okay. That's a good question. I'm glad you asked it. Okay. Is your iPad or iPhone locked? In other words, do you have to use a passcode, 4, 6 digits or whatever, to get in?
Yes.
You should be shaking your head.
Yes.
How do you prevent it from going to sleep too quickly? In other words, you're sitting there working on your iPhone or iPad, and you get up and go to answer the phone. And when you come back, you have to wake it up again.
You can set the time length of it being on or going off.
Correct.
Reset it.
Where do
It's
you
in
do
settings
that?
display.
Settings, that's correct. Settings, display and brightness. So if you go there, you'll see a place to auto lock. Okay, now mine are set for never right now because of the class, and I shift back and forth between my iPhone and iPad. Okay. And I just don't want it to lock while I'm in my class. If you leave it on never, the screen will never dim or go out. And the function that uses the most battery on your device is the screen. Followed second only by the Wi-Fi capability, Wi-Fi and cellular. All right.
So you're saying that we should allow it to shut down or the screen to go down?
Yes, you should.
Thank you.
Okay. Next one. How can you tell quickly if you're connected to the internet and how strong your signal is? No, yes. Any volunteers? You're looking at your screen. There's a little indicator right up here. See the little fan? And the number of bars in that fan, that's on the iPhone, here, iPad, here's the iPhone. The number of bars in that fan tells you the strength of the signal you're using. You also, if you have an iPhone or a cellular iPad, you also have these bars, and that tells you if the strength of the signal coming from the cell phone towers. So how do you connect to a Wi-Fi network? You do that by clicking on settings and then tap Wi-Fi. And it gives you the list of the networks that are near you. Yes, the Wi-Fi networks that are near you. Now, in this case, you'll see that I have an iPhone here. Okay. My iPhone can serve as a connection to the internet for my iPad. And I do that by turning on my personal hotspot. Okay. So that my phone's connected to the internet, either cellular or by Wi-Fi. And I can connect my iPad to my phone, which in turn gets me onto the internet.
You saying that without that, you cannot get on the internet on your iPad?
I can get on Wi-Fi wise, but let's say I'm not near a router. If I'm not near a router, I can't get on the internet with my iPad unless, for example, I'm in the car. And so I turn the hotspot on my phone that's connected to the internet through the cell phone towers. And then I attach I electronically attach my iPhone, my iPad to the iPhone by tapping here. And it requires I put in the iPhone's personal password.
Bill, when you say that you can connect the iPad to Wi-Fi through the iPhone, does that have to do with cellular data?
Yes.
Okay, so in other words, you have the cellular data on the iPhone.
Yes.
And then, okay, thank you.
Well, I'm assuming that the iPhone's only connected to the cell phone towers. That's cellular data. If it's
Yes,
if it's connected to Wi-Fi, it's not using cellular data.
yes, thank you.
Okay, good.
I have a question.
Oh.
I'm mostly concerned with using a hotspot when I'm in Europe, and I'm paying quite a bit for data when I'm doing that. Is there any way to tell how much data extra you're using when you connect your hotspot?
It depends on the cell phone service provider you have, and there are some settings. You could call them and ask them, how can I tell? I think it's
Okay,
there may be an *72 or an *42 that you enter on the phone to tell you that.
okay, thank you.
Bill, can't you get another SIM card for that?
You can, if the phone is unlocked. So there's a lot of conditions on that. Okay. And what we mean by the phone being locked is you can't use the phone with another SIM card if the phone is locked, and the cell phone provider locks the phone, or they used to at least, lock the phone until you've completely paid for the phone. You know, your 2-year plan, you get a phone for $12, or you get a phone for free, but you're paying for it for 2 years.
I don't think they unlock it for you. I think you still have to go through the procedure of unlocking it. It's
You are-
easy.
You are correct. Well, it's,
And make sure you do that, because otherwise you're losing a benefit.
that's correct. Good, Patty, good. Okay. Wow. You know the basics on how to use a browser, right? I'm going to bring up Safari here. Find it. There it is. Okay. The basics of using the internet browser is this line up here.
Oh my God.
My phone, my line, my screen's flickering. Is it flickering for you?
No,
Okay.
not yet.
It is beginning to rain in some areas of Sarasota.
We have a tornado warning.
I know. I'm getting all kinds of flickers here. Anyway, so if we lose each other, I'll restart the meeting and you can try to get in again. This is the search and address bar up here. And if I enter something up there like uh-oh. May not be able to do that. Oh. LLbean.com. I have put in an actual address to get onto the internet. I press return and it takes me to LLbean, and that line tells me the address that I'm on. Now, many of us don't remember a website address and we're using Google to get it, but you can use this top line to get it as well. So if I tap up there and I type in something that is not a web address and I press, it takes me to Google, takes what I typed in up here, puts it down here and does a Google search on it. And it says what I entered does not match any documents or anything that Google has. Okay.
Oh, I have another question. Which iOS are you using? The newer iOS, the search bar is in the bottom. It is no longer in the top.
You can switch it to the top if you want.
Can you?
Yeah.
How do you do that?
In settings, Safari,
Okay,
you're on,
thank you.
you're on your phone, right?
Yeah, I'm on my phone.
Yeah, you can switch it to the top.
Good. I'd like to do that.
Okay. If you're typing something, right, there's a couple of things you might want to know. Let's see if I can pull up something. There I have a note that has a bunch of gobbledygook in it. If I touch the screen, let me show you what I mean here. If I touch the screen right here, see where the cursor is now? It's blinking right beside the J. Right? And I can move the cursor. No, I can't. Let me do it on the phone. Right? Let me bring up a note on the phone. I'll bring up that same note on the phone. If I touch the phone, right there, that's where the cursor goes. I can move the cursor, a couple little hints on the keyboard. If I press the space bar and hold it, and then I can just move my finger around by holding the space bar, and changes the location of the cursor.
You're saying that you can also do that on your iPad Safari.
Yes, I can't because I have an external keyboard.
Right.
There we go. So there's an internal keyboard. If I press the space bar, whoop, and now I can move the cursor around by just keeping my finger where I touch the space bar and start moving it. The whole area, right? Can I do that with the mouse here? Let's try it. Okay, and see how I can move my finger down here and it moves the cursor on the note itself. The other cool thing here is I'm going to press the return key. Cursor is there. If I want to enter a 3, I know on my iPads, I no longer have to go to the 1, 2, 3 keyboard, 1, 2, 3 keyboard. I can put my finger, if I want the number 3, I'm going to put it on the E and pull down, and it types a 3.
Wow.
Pull down, types it 5. So all those gray numbers on your keyboard on the iPads, I can access them by pressing on that key while your finger's still on it, pull down, and it will type that feature. Okay. So that's
Which keyboard name is that? Because the keyboard I'm using must be a different one.
no, I'm not using the external keyboard right now.
No. I'm talking about in the phone. You can still choose which keyboard you want in your phone.
Right. I'm
Which keyboard are you using?
standard English one.
But you aren't using the keyboard to do that. You're just going to the item in your Safari, the actual word that you have up there. Is that
I have that word. If I press the space bar, now my entire keyboard turns into a touchpad that allows me to move the cursor to different places. Okay, I'm pressing on the space bar and then moving it up and down, left and right and left to choose where I want to put. Where I want to put the cursor. Okay.
Yeah, I'm sorry. How are you moving it? Once you've kept your finger on the space bar, then how do you move that left or right or up and down?
You slide your finger on the screen.
Okay, thank you.
Mhm. Wow. Everybody, I hope, knows how, by this point, how to download a new app. If you go to the App Store, which is this icon, and most of the time when we go to the App Store, we know the name of the app we want, and therefore we go to the search item here, and we type that in. Okay. And if you know exactly the one you want, you type the entire thing in and don't select from this list. If you're just searching around for things that Apple's providing, for example, I could tap any one of these to see more. So if I wanted Apple News, I would tap here and I would get Apple News right here. Now, in the App Store, if it says open, that means you have it already. If it says get, that means you don't have it. If there is a price on it, that means it's going to cost you. And I just want to clarify this one thing. When you download an app, whether you pay for it, whether it's free or you pay for it, app considers that you purchased it. I wish they had a different name for that, but they don't. Once you have purchased an app, it is yours for life, for the life of that account. And you can get it again, you can delete it from your phone or iPad and get it back again at no extra charge. The one here I have is CNBC News. It says in-app purchases. That means as you go through it, there are going to be places you can't go because you have to make an in-app purchase. In some cases, if you have a game, you may have to make some in-app purchases to accelerate the rate of play in the game. It may also say update. And so update means I have the app, but it can be updated. So if I click on update, it may sit there and go around for a while. There it is. You see the little circle filling in? And now it has updated on my device. Any questions on that? Any questions on getting an app?
There's a couple of others. You get one with a cloud symbol.
Well, thank you, Bill. If one has a cloud symbol on it, it means that I have purchased it before and I've deleted it from my device and I can download it again. Thank you, Bill. And was there another one that I missed?
Do you then download it from the App Store or do you download it from the cloud?
App Store.
Thank you.
All right. What do the red numbers mean on the apps? Here, there's a number 5 here. It's associated with, oh, not on there. It's supposed to be. Make a liar out of me here. There should be a number 5 on one of those apps. There isn't. Looks like
You have a second page.
no, I just checked that, Bill. I thought it was on the second page, but there's no second page.
But when it shows the whole screen, we can see the 5.
Yeah, I don't know. It belongs to one of those apps. So something,
Right, because it says update underneath it.
could be this one, you think?
No,
Yeah,
It's
the blue, white with a blue S, the Skype, it underneath the name, it has a little cloud next to it.
Yeah, but that just means it's not on my device. By the way, when you go to the App Store, you have an Apple ID and an Apple password. Many times when you go there, it's going to ask you for the password for Apple. Okay, so be sure when you go there, you have that password.
Bill, on the larger screen with the, that icon is different from any that you've got on that other screen.
This
One
one,
that has the 5.
this one,
Yeah, yeah, that's not on the other screen.
it's not on anything there, but it's on all of these. What I have done is I have a lot of apps on my device, something like 300 or 400 apps.
Yeah, I just meant it's not showing up on that other one, which was why this 5 wasn't shown.
No. The 5, that 5 should transpose when I open that folder. It should show up on one of these.
Oh,
But it's not.
Download that guy and see what happens. See if it goes away. But what does the number mean on your mail? If it's a red circle or red indicator on your mail, it has a number in it. What is that number? Anybody know?
How many messages you have?
Nope.
How many
How many
unread?
messages you have not read?
Oh, haven't read.
Doesn't look like that was it, Bill. All right. If there's one on settings, what's that mean?
I'm
Off
wondering,
where it needs to be.
I got a couple answers there at once. What was it, Bill? What would you say it is?
It's a software update pending.
Not necessarily.
mine says finish setting up your iPhone.
All right, so it could be. It could be the setting needs to be finished. In other words, and what you have to do when it's on settings is you have to go down through here and see where that red is. It might be an update and it would be under general. Then you would click the general and then it would show you a red on software update.
What are you looking for?
I'm not
When you-
find any, I don't have any red in my settings right now.
Is it just a red number or just a red dot?
It's a red number.
Thank you.
It could be in settings somewhere, and therefore it might be up here, etc. So settings is a little bit of an exception where there's a red number because it could be multiple things that is causing it.
In other words, a red number or dot tells you there's something that you need to do.
Very good.
Bill, Ralph's got a question.
Go, Ralph.
Oh, do you have to update these apps on both your iPhone and your iPad, or do they sync?
Oh, good question. I don't know. How's that one? I haven't really followed that one through to see if you update it on one device, does it update the other? I would guess not, but.
I think you have to update each device because it can come on one and then on the other one at a slightly different time. So each
Okay.
device would need to be updated when you get the flag to update it.
And I
Thank
think
you.
and Bill's saying that because those apps are slightly different if they're for an iPhone or iPad. So that makes sense.
Thank
My,
you.
my settings has that I have, my iCloud is full and I don't really want to buy anymore. I develop the pictures I want. Does that affect my phone? Leaving it like that? I know it says every time that they can't upgrade.
Yeah, is it your iPad that's full or your iCloud is full?
My iCloud is full.
It does affect you in terms of it's not backing up all the information that's on your device. And if it doesn't have all your information backed up on the iCloud and your device fails for some reason, you will not be able to get back the information from the failed device.
So should I take all the pictures out of the iCloud?
No, you should put them all on the iCloud.
Well, they are on there, but that's what's filling it up. It's mostly
You have
pictures.
to spend some money and get some more space.
Okay, I just thought I'd put them off, take them off and put them on another device.
If you're doing that, usually it's the initial charge is 99 cents a month for 50 gigabytes, and that's usually enough for most people.
Oh, okay. That'd be the best way to go then.
Yes, that's what I would do.
Okay, thank you.
Mhm.
Oh.
Go ahead.
My settings has the 1 on it, and it's because I have not set up my Apple Pay, which I don't want to do.
All right. what I would recommend is to get rid of that one, you pretend like you're going to set up Apple Pay. You go slightly into the Apple Pay thing and then cancel it. And the one will disappear. In other words, you follow the one, but you don't follow the one far enough to put in any information. And then the one will disappear from the screen.
I have the same thing, and when I did that just now, following you, it said continue or set up later in wallet.
And when you do that, set up later in wallet, the one disappears.
Great, thanks, Bill. It's also me to set up in Siri and a couple of others, but maybe the one is totally gone. So anyway, thank you.
Uh-huh.
On your iPhone, you have a number 4 in a red circle under.
I'm going to see where it goes, takes me. I tap it, takes me to LinkedIn, and I believe I got 4 notifications from LinkedIn.
You have 4 new what?
Notifications, it's like emails,
Thank you.
and I'm going to get rid of them. 1, delete, 2, delete, 3, delete, 4, delete. Now I don't have the 4 there anymore.
Very good. Very good example of what you needed to do, of what we need.
You know what you have to do.
They're very valuable, right? That's what I noticed.
When you go to the App Store, sometimes there are many that would fit. How do you decide which is the best?
Ooh. See the ratings? For example, ABC News has a 4.8 rating right there.
Yeah,
Okay.
Yes, yeah.
I would start with that. There's 5 stars.
By the ratings.
Yeah.
Okay.
So
Thank you.
5 stars and the number of people who rated it.
Yeah.
425K for Wall Street Journal there with 5 stars. That's probably a good one to get. Okay.
If you only have like 5 or 10 ratings, then I consider it doesn't count.
You got it, Bill.
Yeah.
Okay. So
That's like a
one way.
doctor, you get 1 5 and you think, oh, he's a good doctor, haha.
The other way is to talk to people, see what they
Yeah.
think of them. Okay. When I teach the class on this, I usually go to search. Give this as an example. Have everybody get a level. And there's the ratings for level. Bubble level is 5 star, but 77,000 ratings. Wow, probably want that one. And then iHandy level has 4 stars, right? I get the idea there.
Okay.
So that's one quick way to tell.
You can also see on that on the bubble one has thousands and the
Yeah,
iHandy has hundreds.
the 2, he's making the point of, let me put my mouse pointer on it. He's making the point that that's 77,000 and this is 654. Right?
But one could be newer than the other too.
Right? So obviously this one has been far more popular and well accepted. Okay.
Thank you.
How do you get a new version of the operating system? How about settings?
Update.
Software settings general. And then software update. So if everybody goes that far at least, you can see what your operating system is or what it needs to be updated to. If you have an older iPhone or iPad, sometimes it will not update to the most recent version of the operating system. And what I'm going to talk about now is a very subtle point, but true. If you see what the name of the operating system is here, iPad OS version 15.3.1, and this one says OS. They're different operating systems and they function somewhat differently now. Okay?
That is up to date. This is Beatrice Foods.
And if yours doesn't, it says you have the most recent one and it doesn't have 15.3.1, therefore you have an older operating system. And it can't be updated. And it can't be updated. Okay? The other thing you should probably turn on here is automatic updates. Turn that on. And by turning it on for both download and install, it automatically installs them overnight if it's plugged in and not turned completely off. Plugged into the internet. Or yeah, it's plugged into power and on the internet.
When you say on the internet, do you mean that Wi-Fi is available, Bill?
It's available and this little fan is up here in the corner.
I'm sorry, and what is up there?
The little fan that indicates
Oh,
you are actually on a Wi-Fi network.
thank you.
Let's talk a little bit about, switch gears here and talk a little bit about calendar. And let's just go to settings and calendar for starters. Settings and calendar. All right. Now, most of your devices are going to say accounts 1 or 2. I happen to have a lot more accounts on my devices because I do classes. All right. It says time zone or for the calendar now, we're talking about time zone override is off. So that wherever your phone or iPad are, it determines what time zone it is in. I also have alternate calendar turned off. Right? And it gives me some options on Chinese, Hebrew, or Islamic calendars. Week numbers are turned on. Right?
Bill, why do you turn on the week numbers?
I don't know, just because it's there. I think it shows me the week numbers on the calendar, doesn't it? Somehow. I don't
Over on
see.
the left, down the Sunday column.
Yeah, I see them.
Okay, thanks, Bill. If I turn that off, I won't get the week number. Right? Sync all events. across your devices. Default alert times, right? For birthdays, it's 1 week before. For events, it's 1 day before. And for all day events, it's 1 day before. They broke in the calendar, they use an event as an appointment. And an all-day event is something like a conference you went to. When you want to start your weeks, I start mine on Sundays. And if you have an item called default calendar, if you have that, that means you have more than one calendar. You need to, and this tells your device which of those calendar to add the event to. Now, I don't want to add too much complication because most of us don't have more than one calendar. But if you do, and I have several, I can choose which one it appears that the calendar, when I put a calendar event on, that's the one it will go to. So it's going to my Gmail calendar. So who asked me the question about calendars?
I did. Barbara.
Barbara?
Yeah.
Do you have a Gmail account?
I do. And the thing is, I'm using a Google Calendar right now because I like using it on my computer, and I'm trying to figure out how to use the Apple Calendar on my computer.
And you can do that by going to iCloud.com. And if you're concerned about privacy, you may not want to put everything into the iCloud. Although I do recommend you do that. I'm going to address this to Barbara because she asked me a question via email earlier today. If you go to settings, and everybody go to settings and tap your name at the top of the settings menu. And then you tap where it says iCloud.
Type what?
Tap where it says iCloud. So I go to settings, tap my name at the top, and then I tap where it says iCloud. Right? Now, for the person who needed space, here's where you would go to add space to the iCloud. It says manage your storage. You go there. It's working on it. And then you want to change your plan. And you may have 5 gigabytes here. And you tap it and you say, change my plan, right? You want a different plan. And if your credit card's not in your device, it will ask you for your credit card number in order to charge you that 99 cents a month. If you look down here, here are all the things I have being saved in the iCloud. Wait a minute, let me go back one more. All these things are being saved in the iCloud. Why? So when I get a new device, all I need to do is give that new device my iCloud ID and password, or my Apple ID and password, and it will download everything that I have on my old device onto my new device. So it's a wonderful feature. If you happen to lose a break or want a new iPhone or iPad.
Bill, I have a question. I have a Health 1.0 Apple INC with a heart, and it's taking up a lot of space, but I don't even know what that is. Should I get rid of it and delete it and turn it off?
How much space? How much space?
It's taking 51.3.
51.3 what?
MB.
That's very little space.
Pardon me?
That's very little space.
Oh, it is, okay.
I got KP, KB.
Yeah, it could be KB, which is kilobytes, even less space. Because it goes K, M, and then G.
Okay. My phone take 3.7 gigabytes. Well, that's what I've got in the cloud, but you said to get only 5 gigabytes. Would that be enough? Because I'm using 3.7 and most of I have 3.6 gigabytes for photos.
So you have all, that's why it's telling you it's full.
Right. So how much should you have?
Well, for example, well, it depends on how many pictures you've taken, how many apps you have.
Most of the pictures, that's the biggest one. It's a gigabytes. The rest are all small.
So I would manage and get more storage, or you start deleting pictures.
How much you said for 99 cents a month? How much would you get for that? I thought you said 5.
You go from 5 to 50.
Oh, 50
Yeah.
for 99.
Right.
Oh, well, that's quite a bit. Okay. I thought it was only 5. I says, well, that is much more.
Then you can take
Okay, thank you.
10 times more pictures.
Yeah, right. I got lots of greats.
Bill, can I ask you something?
Let me answer another question first, Barbell. Okay. Now, the person who wanted to know about this only wanted to have her calendar in the iCloud. So you can turn off everything else here. But keep iCloud backup turned on. Once you do that, you can go to iCloud.com and look at your calendar there the same way you would go to the Gmail calendar online and see that. I tried that earlier today and it works just fine.
Bill, I'm the person who asked the question. So let me ask you this. I'm understanding what you're saying, but I do want to continue. I still have other things that I keep on the cloud, like my photos and all those other things. So my question is this: when I go to my computer and I log into my iCloud account,
iCloud.com. Yeah.
yep. And then I log in, will I be able to pull up my calendar by clicking the calendar and not having then to see all the other things like my photos and all that other thing?
Right. There'll be little icons at the iCloud, one of which will be photos, one will be something else. And you can click on iCloud, the calendar icon, and it would come up and show you what's on the iCloud calendar.
Okay, that works.
Okay.
And then, but can I also then ask you this? When I was researching it this morning, it also said that Microsoft has an app now, which is iCloud. And I don't know if you're familiar with that, but I was afraid to do that because I don't want everything on my iCloud coming to this Microsoft app. I'm just really concerned about the calendar, just the calendar.
If you do it this way, you won't have a problem. I have that app on my computer, my PC. It allows your pictures to end up on your computer, for one.
Okay, that's exactly what I do not want.
Okay.
I don't want it because I have tons of pictures on my phone.
Okay. I like to have them on my computer because I got much more space on my computer than I have on my phone. But it's an individual thing.
Okay.
All right.
Thank you.
Wait a minute, I got to answer Bearbell's question next.
Yeah. Yes, I wanted to ask you, I have backups, 19.2 gigabyte. Do I have to keep it all on there?
How much?
19.2 gigabyte.
Where?
On my iPad.
Okay.
iCloud storage. That's the biggest. It's even more than the photos. Do I have to keep all the backups?
Yes.
Why is it so much?
I don't know. We'd have to get it, we'd have to get into detail of what that,
Okay. But you think I should keep it on there?
yes.
Because I have upgraded to the next 200 gigabyte use, so there's plenty of space. I just wondered why there are so many backups.
We'd have to look at your phone or iPad to see what it is you're using.
Okay,
All right.
okay.
Actually, mine's backing up my iPad, 2 iPads and 2 phones, for example.
And how much do you have?
How much is my backup?
Yes,
My backup's taking 5.9 gigabytes.
but I have 19.2.
Oh,
So,
I'm not sure why.
yeah,
We'd have to look, you'd have to look into it in more detail.
okay. Thank you.
Hmm.
Bill,
Yes, go ahead.
I have a question with the default calendar, going back to that. And my default calendar is iCloud, but then it says, it says new events created outside of a specific calendar will default to this calendar. And it defaults to my Gmail calendar.
So hit
I
the,
have a Gmail account. Can I keep everything in my iCloud calendar? Because that may be one reason why I have more than one entry for the same event.
there's a different, well, like birthdays and holidays and things like that, you have multiple entries?
Well, that too, but not just that. I mean, new things, like one day university and Zoom meetings. Sometimes with the Zoom meetings, I get them, not the Zoom meetings, but with open table reservations.
You're in settings looking at calendar, is that correct?
Excuse me?
You're at settings looking at calendar.
Right, and I'm looking at default calendar.
And you tap that. And you can select what you would like as your default calendar.
So I can put in anything I want.
Yes, anyone that's listed there.
Well, the one that's listed there is my Gmail email account.
Yep, well, okay.
And I touched it and it just put a check mark by it.
That means that's your default now.
But I don't want it to be my default calendar.
What do you want your default calendar to be?
I want it to be my iCloud calendar.
Okay, tap one of the iCloud calendars up there.
Yeah, I know. I tapped home so that now my iCloud calendar is my.
Sure, it's the same on your iPhone and your iPad are the same.
Yes.
And once you've done that, every entry you make from now on will go into that calendar.
Yes, but what it's saying is that new events created outside of a specific calendar will default to another calendar. So it's anything that's created outside of my iCloud calendar.
It says new events created outside the specific calendar will default to this calendar.
Right.
Okay.
And it has listed in there in my Gmail address.
But you're going to tap the other. You're going to tap home.
Yes, I did.
Okay.
But what I'm saying is that I get more than one entry in my calendar for the same event.
I'm not sure why that's happening, but let's go one thing at a time. Make sure your default is the same on both your iPhone and the iPad.
It is.
Okay, now everybody, we got that? Did you get that default thing?
If I, can I ask a question?
Sure, go ahead.
Okay. If I delete family sharing, will that delete everything that has been shared already?
No. It will delete it being shared with other people.
If I take the person off that was on and
I'm not sure if the previous events will still be on their calendars or not.
No, but I'm
New
concerned.
ones, any new ones will not go to them.
Okay, but for instance, music, will that be deleted from me? Because I shut off family sharing?
No, no,
Okay, just them, future for them.
yes,
Okay, thank
okay?
you. Yes.
I have a question, Bill. My calendar default comes up as my Gmail account. I do have a Gmail account, but I don't really use it. I use my AOL account for everything. So should I still keep the calendar? It says Gmail with my Gmail. How should I do that?
It doesn't matter. If you're comfortable with it in Gmail, that's fine. I would recommend keeping it in Gmail. Is there an
Okay.
AOL option?
I don't see one, but okay, that's fine. I just,
AOL doesn't give you the I don't think. Let
so
me,
since I never go on Gmail, how would I access this calendar on Gmail?
just a minute. I want to check something. Yeah, AOL does not have a calendar capability.
Okay. So how do I actually, now that all my stuff is on this Gmail, which I never really use, how do I access my calendar?
On your iPhone and iPad?
Yes,
I'll show you that in a minute.
okay.
You obviously have a Gmail account.
Oh, yes, I do.
Okay. All right.
And I really, at some point, I'd really like to switch over to Gmail because this, I know it's newer than AOL, but I don't know how to do that either.
Yeah, you just send everybody a email, tell them your new email address.
Okay.
All right.
Now, Bill, what does show invitee declines mean?
That's if you're using the capability it has to automatically add things to your calendar,
Oh,
setting up things, and I don't use that feature. If you're in a business, yeah, that's something to learn how to use.
but does that mean that I get an email and when I touch the date that's within that email, it automatically goes to my calendar? Is that what that means?
I haven't used it.
Oh, I see what you're saying. Okay. Well, I guess that's what it means because that's what happens.
Okay, good.
It's actually handy.
Yes,
if,
it helps.
if you're setting up a date with somebody else or an activity, you're creating an event in a calendar and you can invite a friend to join you and you just click invite and the person from your contacts and they get an invite for what's in your calendar and they either accept it or decline it. And if they accept it, it gets posted in their calendar automatically.
If they decline, does it tell you, Diane?
Excuse me?
If they decline or
Yes.
accept, does
If you click that in your settings, it tells you if they
No.
decline.
No.
Oh, that's what that
How
means.
do I
then.
know? How do I know show invite declines? Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, now I get it.
Right.
Yeah, it saves them from entering all the information in their calendar.
Okay. And I'll get to in a moment how you would send an invitation like that. Okay. So let's go out of settings, everyone now. All right. And let's go to your calendars. Today's the 12th. All right. And in the upper left-hand corner of your device, let me go back to calendar on the iPhone. It's not there. On the iPads, there's a little icon in the upper left-hand corner. If you tap that little icon, you'll notice that the panel appears and disappears. That's an interesting little panel that appears. Okay.
On the phone, it's the calendar's word down at the bottom.
And Bill's saying that it's the calendar word down here at the bottom. So let me tap that. Okay. Now here are the calendars I'm looking at. And I have them all checked. So I have a Yahoo calendar, a Gmail calendar. I have my wife's calendar, and I have other. Okay. And what,
Bill, I'm sorry, I can't get into I've never used the calendar before. So I'm not in my calendar's not coming up. I go back.
is there a calendar app on your screen?
Let's see.
You may not have a calendar.
Oh, okay. Yes, I see. There it is. Okay.
All right.
Okay. Thank you.
Mhm.
Bill, what does, under calendars, I have contacts, shared by contacts.
Again, are you in the calendar app or calendar settings?
That's a good question. I have no idea.
Press the home button.
I'm on an iPhone.
Get back to the home screen
Go back to the home screen. All right.
and then tap the calendar app on the home screen.
Okay. Yeah, that's what I'm on then, I guess.
Okay.
You can see that on your iPad. Down toward the bottom, it says contacts as one of the calendars you can share. I think that's picking up birthdays, but I'm not sure.
And I'm gonna-
Oh, that makes sense.
All right. So if I look at this, it's showing me I have a Gmail calendar, a Yahoo calendar, an iCloud calendar, and my wife's calendar. And it shows me sub portions of those calendars. And what Apple is doing is it takes all those calendars that I have checked, molds them together, and shows them, for example, on this day. And there's little color dots here, tell me which calendar it's from. So this one for the 2nd with Betty is from my wife's calendar because it's in yellow. So I get all the meetings showing up here.
Wow.
I need to do that.
If I turn off my calendar, watch what happens. Ooh, wait a minute. And I tap done. Oops, that was my iPhone. Let me do it on my iPad here. Down here to turn mine off, down here. Boom. See what happened? All of my appointments got taken off the calendar.
Ooh. Oh, we don't have one.
All right. Now, Bill brought up the point, if you have contacts in multiple locations, for example, Diane may have contacts in 2 different places. If you have it on here, that contact's birthday will appear on, or anniversary, would appear on that day multiple times. All right. The same goes for holidays. You may have a holiday in there multiple times, and therefore you have to turn the holidays off. Now let's see what I got. Daylight savings. What if I turn this one on? Now I got daylight savings twice. Can I get it 3 times? Yeah, here's one. Now I have it 3 times from 3 different sources. That making some sense to you? You can say no.
Got to get the calendar first to do it.
I have checked calendar, home, and family. Which one, if I don't even know which one I use. It goes
Well,
automatic.
no, that's back on the what was the default you selected?
Oh, okay, that's the family.
Settings, yes.
Oh.
Oh my goodness. So go back to settings and see what default you want and make sure you're looking at that calendar. One day I was giving a class and one person kept putting this particular appointment in and it never showed up over here in the calendar. And then I said, well, why don't you click this little button here and they all showed up. She was putting it in a calendar she wasn't viewing. Okay. I like the smile, Jean. Okay. All right.
Bill, where would the daylight savings time turn up in what calendar? I don't have that.
Show it in holidays, make sure one of the holidays is checked.
Yeah, subscribe, it says.
Yeah, and that one should contain daylight savings.
It's coming up sometime now, isn't it? I don't have it.
Like tomorrow.
But Bill,
You know, can I also put in the German daylight saving times is always on a different day? Can I add that too?
Not unless you have a German source for the calendar.
Oh,
Okay,
Bill,
yes.
if I'm, for example, make a lunch date with somebody and I want to put it on the calendar, where do I write it that I can add it to the calendar?
I put an entry in there yet, but
What?
I've not gotten to where you put an entry in yet, so I'm going to do that shortly.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
I ask a question about your calendars. If you only have one calendar, there is no icon in the corner for you to choose of your calendars. Is that correct? Because I'd only have one calendar and I can't find any kind of icon that I can choose
Are you iPhone or iPad?
on that. Well, that's the same way on both of them, but right now I'm looking at my iPad.
And what version of the operating system do you have?
Same thing as you.
And you don't have the little box up here?
Do not.
This is the iPad now.
Yes. On the other side, on the right hand, I have a little box.
We'll tap it, see what happens.
Nothing. It highlighted itself and then backed off, but nothing happened. I have no other calendar going.
You're breaking up on me, so I'm only hearing you part.
Oh, I'm sorry.
All right.
I'm not going to worry about it. I just was wondering if there was something wrong, but I should have more calendars, but I don't. As I know, I only have one.
You're using the Apple Calendar app.
I have a Google Calendar.
Ah. You're using the Google Calendar app.
Yes.
Apple Calendar app. Okay.
Okay.
Forget and use that. I recommend that one because it works integrated with, if you get an email and you want to add it to the calendar, for example.
Okay, thank you.
Mhm. All right, now I'm going to click the little box and close that on both my iPhone and the iPad. And now for some navigation. How do you get around the calendar? I'm going to get to the point where you add an event, but on the iPad, it says day, week, month, and year at the top. On the iPhone, it works a little differently. If you wanted the month of May or March, you would tap the name of March. It would come up. And you can go back to March of 2022 by hitting the back arrow at the top. So I hit the month of March, and then I hit the day in March.
oh,
Hit the day, and it lists the events on that day. You with me?
yes.
On the iPhone, there's these little dots and dashes, as well as the iPad. And that brings up a listing of your events versus them appearing on a calendar face. Okay, you can scroll up and down that listing to get the different days and months, etc.
I'm not, on the iPhone, I'm not getting, okay, let me just, okay, so March 12th, I clicked on the day, and then what's coming up is nothing on that day, and underneath the various holidays that are, I've never used calendar, so the various holidays that are automatically coming up. Then I also clicked at the top, it says Saturday, March 12th, clicked on that, nothing happens.
So mine shows March 12th. Is that what yours shows?
Yes, with that same red outline.
Yeah, that means it's on March 12th right now. Now,
Right.
Let me
It's
finish
not-
going through navigation for a minute.
It's okay, I got it.
All right. All right, to complete going now on the iPad, I can tap months. If I tap years, for example, I scroll up and down to go from year to year on the iPad. If I tap months, I go up and down. If I tap weeks, it works differently. I have to put my finger here and go right to left to go from week to week. And the same goes if I'm on days. To go to the next day, I go right to left. Okay? Navigating through years, months, and days on the iPad. On the iPhone, cool thing they have on the iPhone is today. See the today in the lower left-hand corner? If you just tap that, it takes you to today's schedule. And you can go left and right to go to the next week and tap different days of the week you want to look at.
You have to put them in. Well,
And you can go back, it says March at the top. I can hit the back arrow right here to go back to the year view. 2 taps to get back to the year view. You get the idea? So I'm just trying to tell you how you navigate through your calendar.
you have to tap. Put it on, putting it on.
One of the cool things you can do is actually search your calendar for a particular name or event. If you know the name of it, you tap the search bar, type it in, and it will come up. So if I type it here and I say iPhone, then it lists all the places where I have iPhone. Through the years. Okay.
This you go.
So far, so good. Now the coup de grace, right? I want to set up a meeting. Right? This is what the purpose of a calendar is. See the plus sign? Now I'd like everybody just to watch for a minute because there's a couple of things we'll do. I'm going to do it on the iPhone and the iPad, and then we'll go back and ask you to do it. Okay? So I hit the plus sign and it comes up and says put in a title. Now don't do it, just watch. iPad. Oh, let's dinner date. Okay. Now, one of the things that it allows you to do, but it's optional, is to include a location. If you type in a location there, it will show up on your calendar. When you open that event, you can tap on that location and it will open maps and tell you how to get there.
Oh, fabulous.
So that's a really cool feature. Don't need to use it. The next thing down there, is this an all-day event? And I have that turned. If it's on, it just asks for which day is the event. And is it a multiple day event in that it starts on one day and then goes through and to another day? Then on the iPad, I would say what day it is, and I would click the day. And then I would click the time, and I would select the time. Since it's dinner, it's 5 p.m. So far, so good.
Mhm.
the time zone is the time zone I'm in. And if you're traveling a lot, that becomes important. But down here it says end, right? And the dinner date ends at, and I'll change that to 7.
Okay.
And that's enough to start with. So now if I press add, it's added to my calendar. Now on the iPhone works just about the same way. So let me do it on the iPhone as well. I hit the plus sign. I say dinner date. Now I already have it on there for the, again, I can put the location in. This one I'm going to change to the 14th, right? And then I tap the time there, and it's going to be late dinner, 7. I come down here and I tap, and it's a 2-hour dinner. And I tap add.
Good.
So now I have a dinner date on the 14th from 7 to 8. All right, so let's everybody try that. I want you to set up a dinner date at 7 o'clock tomorrow evening. And I'll show you how to delete it later.
Calendar. Anyways. How to do this, I don't. I'm gonna get the calendar.
Okay.
So we hit the plus sign. We type in the event.
Didn't do it right.
We adjust the date by tapping on the date and adjust it. Tap on the time and adjust it. If it's more than an hour, you tap where it says end and change the time. And then click the word add.
No, I have a question.
Go ahead.
I do this all the time. I have no problem with it. Only when I tried to do it with you, it says start March 13th, 2022, and does not give me an opportunity to tell them what time. And March
But
13th.
it's on all
2022.
day. Turn off the all day.
Oh, okay. Yeah, thank you.
Good question.
Oh, have a calendar. Put a calendar up there.
Now, there's just one other feature that is really nice, but it requires a little focus. Okay, suppose I have a class that I'm having Thursday evenings at 8 o'clock for the next 5 weeks. The way from what I've taught you now, you would have to make 5 different entries. Well, they have a way in which you can repeat. So I want to show you that now. I want to have a class on Thursday, the 15th, or the 17th, at 7 at night. It's 2 hours long. And I want it to run from the 17th for the next consecutive 5 Thursdays. So I tap, just like I did before, the plus sign. Right? And I'm just going to call it a special class. And again, you can be watching this. It's not an all-day event. It's going to start on the 17th. And it's going to start at 7 in the evening. And it's going to run to 9. And there's an item there called repeat. I'm scrolling down and there's repeat. Now this is where it gets a little bit tricky. I tap never. And I want it to repeat every week. So now it's repeating every week until the end of time. It says end repeat never. Right? So now if I tap add, I will have a Thursday night class from now for all future dates. But I need to end it. So I tap end, repeat, where it says never, and I say on a date. And so it was going to be, let's go back one. So it started on the 17th. That's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So I click on the 14th as the day it ends. You with me?
Why wouldn't you click on a date that it ends?
I did. April 14th. Okay, that's 5 weeks. I just counted the weeks here. And then I tap the, now here's where it gets a little, it's not quite clear. I tap new back to new event, and then I tap add. Okay, so now there, I have it on the 17th. If I go to the next week, it's on the 24th. If I go to the next week, it's on the 31st. It's on the 7th. It's on the 14th. And if I go one more week, it's no longer there. Okay. So give that a shot. Go ahead.
You have it end on the specific date you want it to end.
Right. I could have clicked on the April 23rd or April 23rd, just not, I could have clicked on the April 27th. If I would have clicked on April 28th, it would have gone clear through. So it doesn't have to be that specific day, just not before the next one would occur. You're looking kind of frowning at me, Lee. Right? It doesn't have to be that date.
What if you're doing something every week, but on a specific day of the week?
That's what this is. It's every week
Thursday.
on that day.
Oh, are you watching?
So my bridge club's meeting on Wednesday nights at 7. And I can just do that and say repeat weekly. And it'll repeat it every day for the end of time. Okay,
There's a problem when you do it monthly, though.
what happens monthly?
Well, on monthly, if you do the every month, it puts it on that, like, it'll say like the 5th of the month, 10th of the month, or whatever. So if you wanted to be on the 2nd Thursday or the 3rd Friday or whatever, you have to go to custom.
Yeah,
It's because within month to month are not, except for February and March, the same dates are same days.
no, it's a different day.
It's confusing.
Yeah, I know.
Well, you just figure it out. Okay, how do you delete it now?
Oh, we want to delete it.
I want to delete the first one.
And I want to repeat this one.
Okay.
Repeat custom, right? And it's every day.
Okay.
I think if you, I haven't played with this that much, but I think if you make it every month, it's on that day.
It's on that day,
It's
but
on-
if you touch on the, it'll
hold
fix
on
it.
now. If I do that, if it's the first Monday or first Wednesday, like our stud presentations, if I pick the first Wednesday of the month and say monthly, will it always be the first Wednesday?
No,
It'll be.
you have
that-
to go to the on the after each.
Wait a minute.
We need to play with that one a little bit.
Okay,
You used to be able to
The
do
first-
it in prior updates, in prior operating systems.
Yes.
You could
No,
do
Google does a little better job of this than Apple does, by the way.
If on the monthly calendar you touch on the, it will allow you to be the first, second, third, or fourth,
Oh,
and the day of the month.
if I choose monthly,
Choose monthly
I did
and then
that,
custom.
and then custom.
Oh, really?
And now after each, click on the, right underneath it.
Ah.
And now you
Okay.
can specify the first, second, third, or fourth, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, whatever you want, and it'll repeat that way.
Yep. Okay, thank you.
Oh, custom.
Okay.
All right.
Bill,
Go
another
ahead.
question.
Mhm.
So suppose something shows up in my email that I want to add to my calendar. Is there an easy way to just click something that says add to calendar? Without going through,
Somebody needs to help me with that, because I don't do it that way. Is there? Anybody use it that way?
I think you can click on the date or something. And
Yeah.
and that opens it up.
I'm not sure.
It depends on the invite. If you've got something like when Bill sends out a Zoom, that Zoom invitation you can add to your calendar.
Yes.
And also I've noticed something new that I'm starting to get some serious suggestions for calendars, but I haven't worked it enough to know whether that's going to keep working.
Okay,
uh-huh.
let me end this. Any other questions on calendar?
Yes.
Bill? Oh.
I'm wondering if when you have something on the calendar, I've never used it, and I'm glad to be able to. Does it show up in your Gmail? In other words, if you have a meeting that you've input to the calendar, do you then get a notification automatically on Gmail? Or you go into your calendar every day to see what's going on, or every week, for the week?
Notification, not a calendar.
I do. I get that.
You get a notification or an email?
I just get a notification on my screen from my email. It doesn't give me the whole email. It just simply says 10 o'clock today, your event, or tells me the time and the date of my event and
Yeah,
tells
but-
me what it is.
Thank you.
Well, you set that up when you input your calendar, your event in your calendar, you set up your alert.
I don't have to set up an alert. It just does it. It just does it.
I know. See right there on the iPad, it says alert one day.
Oh, yeah.
Default, you can change that if you wish.
Thank you.
Now, when I'm in the doctor's office and I have my phone, I don't do any of this.
Bill, I have a question.
Okay, go ahead.
How did you get to custom? I'm in my, I'm in where I have title come up, new event and title, but I don't know how to get to custom from there.
Tap on repeat. You tap repeat,
Oh, repeat.
and there's never every day, every week,
Okay,
every month, and custom there.
okay, thank you.
Maybe I need to clarify what I was saying about getting the notice. I have a Gmail or a Google Calendar, and that's where I put everything on. Comes through, not necessarily through my email. It just shows up on my screen.
Yeah.
Right. I have a Gmail calendar as well, so
How do you know if you have a Gmail calendar?
that's the default. If you have a Gmail account and that's the default calendar,
Automatically?
going back to calendar settings,
Okay.
right? It says default calendar, and right there it says Gmail. For me, because I have a Gmail account, and I chose that that's the calendar that I want to be using.
Oh, I see. I see. Okay.
I figured it
Now,
out.
as I said, I don't use any of this.
And here you're teaching it.
I told you that to tell you this. Okay. If you bring up Siri, you can say 3 things. If you say schedule, it's going to put it on your calendar. And then you say, what is it? You don't say meeting, because then it'll say, I'm going to schedule a meeting. You say schedule Dr. Jones, and then the date and time, or time and date.
Huh.
So let me do that.
That sounds easier.
Wow.
Schedule Dr. Jones next Tuesday at 10 o'clock.
You already have another appointment about Dr. Altman at 10:30 a.m.
Oh my God.
That's great.
No,
Change something or
No.
just cancel.
cancel.
Okay, I won't create the event.
That's great.
You're at the doctor's office. They want to hand you one of those little cards. All you do is
Oh, wow.
right?
And this is your Apple calendar or any calendar?
Your default calendar, whatever your default calendar is.
Wow. I was trying.
Wow, that's right.
Okay.
There's all those calendars. But change it.
I wanted to tell you all that to tell you this. 3 things. Schedule's the operative word to get it on your calendar. Then you say where. Right? Or I'm sorry, you say what. You know, board meeting, pickleball, or whatever. And then the time and date, or date and time. Okay. And she comes back and says, is this what you want me to do? And you say yes, and it's on your calendar.
Oh, wow.
Okay, everybody?
Great. Thank you.
Okay, time for the test for the day. Oh, this is Louise time. See how she does this week. Where did the, whoops, let me switch gears here. All right. Where did the boat go when it was sick? Boy, everybody gets awful quiet now.
Yeah.
To the
Well,
dock.
Where'd
no
it go?
question.
He went to the dock.
It went to the boat dock.
Oh, good. That was good. That was good.
That wasn't bad, right? What do you call a crate full of ducks? Man,
Yeah.
this is the graduate level one, huh? A box of quackers.
Good.
Oh,
What kind of bird can write?
Roadrunner?
Penguin.
Penguin, all right.
Oh, that was a good one too.
Well, this one's kind of weird, but what do you call a sheep with no legs or head? A poof. That's
a
close.
what?
A poof.
Oh,
A cloud.
Oh,
Aw. What is another name for a cow?
no. Heifer, no.
Here.
A lawnmower.
A lawnmower.
That's yeah, goat.
Right? What do baseball Christine and Baker have in common?
Good question.
All right, come on, come on, come on. Oh, what do you make bread from?
Dough.
Wow.
How about a batter?
Oh, that's good, yeah.
Where do you get these?
Can we stop?
All right, couple more. Why don't lobsters share? I don't know if that's true or not. They're selfish, shellfish.
Oh, it's shellfish.
I was going to say they're crabby.
That would be a good one for crabs, yeah. A barrel of water weighs 20 pounds. What must you add? How much you add to make it weigh 12 pounds?
24.
You have to add holes.
Because it went down in weight. So
Right.
they have to come out. Yeah.
Is that the last one? I thought you had to leave early, Bill.
One more. You can't keep this. Let me read this correctly. You can't keep this until you have given it. Ooh, that one's deep.
That's deep. Huh?
A promise.
Mm.
Promise. All right.
Oh, that's good.
We're going to talk about music next week. And there's one other subject I think we had on the agenda. Now I have all this stuff added to my calendar. Oh, we're going to talk about music and news next week. And of course, address your questions. Okay?
Okay.
Thank you,
so much.
Bill.
And next week will be
Thank
just,
you, Bill.
we'll close half an hour early.
No, no.
Yeah, to
yes,
11:30.
Probably close a half an hour early. Thank you, Ann. Since we were supposed to have the luncheon today for the volunteers. The luncheon's been postponed till next week.
Oh, so next week's 11:30?
No, next week will probably end at 11:30.
Yeah,
I
okay.
probably won't be able to ask you any of my jokes. I don't know.
Aw.
You gonna tape it next week?
Yes,
Oh, good.
of course. Okay.
Okay.
Well, it looks pretty good outside right now.
Yeah.
That's where I am.
Keep safe. Have a good.
Have a good
Thank
week,
you.
everybody.
Thank you.
Thank you, Bill.
Bye, Bill.